Good morning, and welcome back to our study of Mark chapter 1. Today we will be looking at verses 32 through 34. They say, "That evening at sundown they brought to him all who were sick or oppressed by demons, and the whole city was gathered together at the door. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases, and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak, because they knew him." This is an interesting passage because what you see here is Jesus continuing to do what he had started doing at the beginning of this day. The day started with him going to the synagogue on a Sabbath, casting out an unclean spirit, and then immediately after that he went and he raised up Peter's mother-in-law, helped her with her fever, and now word has spread throughout the town of Capernaum that Jesus is there and that he's doing these things. And what's fascinating to me about this is a few things. One is that Capernaum was not a very big place. I mean, for Galilee, it was a larger town, but it was by no means a big city. But yet, we're told that they brought to him all who were sick and oppressed by demons. I mean, this just demonstrates that even in a place that is the size of Capernaum, there is still a lot of sickness. There is still a lot of spiritual oppression. And so, brothers and sisters, don't think that those things are just in the big cities or in the places where, all the hubbub is. Sometimes sickness and spiritual warfare, they go on everywhere. They go on right here in your own backyard sometimes. In the small towns just as much as the big cities. You think about our own society and country right now, you hear so many people who are succumbing to addiction. And a lot of times it's places that aren't in the big city. It happens there, but I mean, it happens out in the middle of nowhere too, in small towns all across our nation. And so it's important to remember that evil and death and sickness, they're just not in big places. They're everywhere. It needs to be looked at. But the good thing about that is that we serve a God who is willing to go to the places where he is needed. He was needed in Capernaum, and there he was. And notice, again, the reaction of the town. The whole city has gathered together at the door. People are taking notice. They are bringing their loved ones. They're sick, those who have demons. And Jesus is healing them left and right, casting out demons left and right, not permitting the demons to speak because they know him. Again, going back to what we talked about a few days ago, this idea that the demons knew exactly who he was and what he came to do. Jesus is fulfilling the calling that's been placed upon his life, and people are taking notice. People are seeing that something is happening, and they are wanting to try to help people that are involved. Brothers and sisters, I believe that when the church is doing what the church is supposed to be doing, then people will take notice and people will come. I always think about the old line from Field of Dreams of, if you build it, they will come. And how sometimes, we kind of get this idea of like, if we build this big new building, or if we do this thing or that thing, then that's going to attract so many people. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've figured out how to grow a church, but everything that I've ever read and most of the people I've ever talked to, oftentimes it's not about as much of what you build, but what you're doing. Like when I think about the churches that are doing well in the area where we live, oftentimes the thing that I ask myself is well, why is that? And oftentimes it comes down to this. The people who are going to those churches, They are talking about not the church building, but what's going on, what the church is doing. Is the worship godly? Is it lively? Is it lifting up the Lord and glorifying Him? Are the people there? Is the Spirit moving among them? Are you seeing people come to know the Lord? Are people excited about going to church, about going and worshiping? Because I'm going to tell you something. This is one thing that's definitely true about people. If people are excited about doing something, if they look forward to doing something, you better believe that they're going to tell people about that. And so, brothers and sisters, when we think about we wanting to grow our church, I mean, yes, the church needs to be involved in the things that Christ called the church to be involved in. And also, brothers and sisters, are you excited about that? If your church is doing the things that the church is supposed to be doing, are you excited about that? And are you telling people about it? Are you spreading the word that the Lord is doing something in this place? I mean, that's something that you're going to have to ask your own self and work out for your own self. But the last thing I want to talk about this morning is this, is that notice that Jesus is working all day up until sundown. Jesus doesn't punch a clock and then say, all right, everybody go home, I'm done. You with the twisted hand, you're just going to have to wait for tomorrow. You with the demon over there, you're going to hold off for a few hours. No, Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus does the work when the work is there in front of him. He doesn't turn people away. He brings them in. Brothers and sisters, that is the attitude of a servant. And that's the attitude of our master. And so if that's the way that he lived and that's the way that he acted, then perhaps we should take a lesson from that. That sometimes serving the Lord and helping other people, it doesn't happen from 9 to 5. It happens during that time that we like to claim as our own. But brothers and sisters, if we belong to the Lord, then is there anything that is actually ours? Or is it just the things that he has given us to be responsible for? Just something to think on. Have a great day.